Hey guys, this is Cheney77 here with Troll Test 123, and we're actually going to be doing a bit of a what would you call it? A team analysis. Um, Troll has a YouTube channel. I'll leave his link in the description. But this league we're analyzing is called the Loli Kingdom, run by Vergi. Troll, you want to say something?
Yo, hey guys, what's up? Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're just gonna go through the teams and sort of pick out like strengths and weaknesses. Hopefully we get to really talk about how the team might function and how like what things that the team could do to sort of improve. And hopefully this also helps with like trades and free agencies and things like that.
Awesome. You want to get started with Vamp?
Yeah, sure. So Vamp has a team of Zapdos, Mega Dansey, Victini, Necrozma, Scizor, Kyurem, Shaman, Keldeo, Kamala, Nidoqueen, Florges, and Spiritomb. So I thought that this team had a pretty interesting. So it has a pretty interesting offensive Fire, Water, Grass core with Victini, Shaman, and Keldeo, which can be fairly defensive as well. Keldeo can obviously have some sort of something called Mind set or something like that.
Cancer subtoxic.
Yeah, that too. Overall, like there was definitely some energy. It feels very bulky offense sort of like style. There's some defensive options obviously with Florges, and Spiritomb, things like that I guess. But like there's also some pretty hard hitters like Mega Dansey, Keldeo with the specs set, and things like that. But they do have some bulk to it, so I think it's a pretty good team. You notice is overall it feels pretty slow.
Yeah.
Like Dansey and like Keldeo, everything else is fairly slow.
Yeah.
Or obviously has priority and stuff, but that could be concerning, especially when I'm putting a team against a sort of a slower team. I can get away with some bulk, right? Because I don't have to invest so much into speed. I can also run like modest instead of timid, things like that, and all those things I feel matter, because when you do calcs, you normally do calcs with like maybe like max speed timid, 0 HP or something like that, and it can really throw you off, and you're not really sure like how much they're going to invest in things, so that can potentially be a problem. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Speed is an issue. Also, hazards is an issue as well that I'm seeing. So he's got Nidoqueen with rocks and T-Spikes, Necrozma, and Mega Dansey. Mega Dansey, you don't really want to be running rocks. So you got basically two hazard setters. His removal is pretty good. I mean, Zapdos is good. Scizor is not that good. Kamala can spin, so it's alright, but his team in general isn't that hazards weak, apart from Victini. I mean, he's got the... Oh, true, he's got Kyurem. Yeah, I mean, typically, if you have two or three hazard removals, it's fine. You're not going to be running hazard removal every week anyway. His electric type is Zapdos, which, I mean, Zapdos is good, but I don't think it really fulfills the role of a fast electric type. It's more of a bulky electric type. It's more just like a bulky flying. You don't really think of it as like an electric type.
Yeah, that's pretty true. Especially because like it doesn't resist like electric moves.
Yeah.
which is one of the qualities of an electric type. I feel also like it wastes its potential because like obviously it can be offensive, but then when it's offensive, like potential as like one of the few bulky electric mons like in the game.
Yeah.
So, you pretty much run defensive like every single time.
Yeah, I mean, especially looking at his team, he has a lot of breakers, a pretty good sweeper, I guess, in Mega DNC. So I can see Zapdos getting pigeonholed into that defensive role.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, it's a pretty good team.
Yeah, I would say so myself too. I think
it's a pretty good start. The only thing is, right, so in this league, they allowed Mega Mawile and Magearna. So why he chose Zapdos first overall, it baffles me. Like, okay, look at the top 5. None of them took Mega Mawile or Magearna, which I don't know what's wrong with these guys.
I mean, I think Mega Mawile isn't as good.
But Magearna not going number 1?
Magearna's pretty busted, honestly, and even in League. I mean, especially in League, I should say. I think it's pretty busted. But I mean, like some of the other that were drafted aren't bad. Like in the first pick, like Magearna was picked 9th, right?
Yeah.
And there's also like Winnie, like Coco, like the others seem fine. I think Zapdos and obviously Conkeldurr, but
well, we'll get to epics. Anyway. But yeah, anything else you want to say?
Not really. I feel like we covered a lot.
Yeah. All right. On to Blaze. Blaze has got Tapu Fini, Mega Beedrill, Heatran, Weavile going round 4. That's ridiculous. Ferrothorn, Zygarde 50%, Slowbro, Chansey, Nidoking, Rotom Heat, Mandibuzz, and Mesprit. So, speed tiers are nice. He's got a nice Fairy Dragon Steel Core, like really nice. His speed Mega Beedrill is nice. He didn't really cover his Heatran weakness. I feel like his ground spam weakness. I mean, Rotom Heat is alright. Mandibuzz eats. Yeah, Mandibuzz can check Molebreak Excadrill pretty well as well. So, I mean, there's some synergy there, but I think his team's really nice. Zygarde 50% going in the 6th round is a steal. I think Zygarde 50% is one of the best mons this gen, just because Z moves and 1000 arrows is ridiculous.
It's definitely much better than last gen, for sure.
And like after using it in the CBA, it's so bulky, it's ridiculous. Like it can take, just for an example, I think it takes a Slowking's Ice Beam and it does like 70%. So uninvested, which is
that's ridiculous.
And that's like there's no HP, no Spadef investment. It's just
wow.
Yeah, it's dumb. Tapu Fini's has got some nice wish support from Chansey. I think Tapu Fini really needs wish support to be good. Hazards. He's got what? Nidoking, Mesprit, Heatran, Mega Beedrill. Does Mega Beedrill get Toxic Spikes? I feel like it does. I feel like I've seen George run that.
I don't know. Maybe. Ferrothorn also has spikes, which is nice.
Yeah, spikes. And
I think there's a lot of hazard options.
Yeah. No electric type. Yeah.
He has Rotom.
Rotom Heat. Okay, he does. But yeah, removal, solid removal. defog Tapu Fini and Mandibuzz. So yeah, not I don't like Chansey, but I don't know. Blaze seems to like Chansey a lot. Thoughts? Your thoughts on the team?
Yeah, so I think I actually really like his Feeny, Heatran, Ferrothorn combo. I think that defensively, they do pretty well. Like Ferrothorn gets bopped by fire moves, which Heatran and Feeny, you know, are fine with. It's they don't resist ground, but Ferrothorn usually takes the common physical ground moves pretty well. And yeah, I think overall like could really be hard for a lot of mons to break. I think his team is very balanced, offensive and defensive, capabilities. He has fast trail mons like Mega Beedrill and Weavile, but like he also has like very bulky offensive mons like Zygarde, like you said, and he has like the things that will take a bunch of hits like Chansey and Mandibuzz. So overall, I feel like he has a lot of different options, and I think Blaze is a pretty balanced player. So like, I feel like he's gonna hit hard with his offensive mons pretty well, but then switch into his defensive mons when they have to take hits. So I think overall he'll be able to play with this team pretty well. Couple notes is I think it has a terrible knockoff weakness. So like I can pretty much click knockoff and something's gonna be crippled, whether that be something's gonna lose its lefties, or something's gonna take like 1,000,000,000% from it, or it's just they're gonna lose something that like is vital. And I also think that there are a couple quad weaknesses that might be concerning. Heatran has one, Ferrothorn has one, Zygarde has one. So those are things that are because you don't want to be bopped by a single move and then be set back a ton, especially because like they can like tech in maybe like an HP ground, HP fire, or just a bizarre move that you normally wouldn't see. But it's quite easy to do when you're preparing. And I think there's a bit of a Tapu Fini and Mandibuzz sort of dependence, especially like I think Chansey sort of helps out, especially with its Wish support. Like you said, I think Fini and even like Ferrothorn really appreciates that support, but I feel that if you keep switching into them, they're going to be worn down, and then his team is going to be left with a lot of frail mons, which would be sort of easy to exploit. Also, Mega Beedrill, I've used it before in League. I didn't really like it. Granted, this was before it got its buff, with the automatic speed boost, which I think is huge. Because I had to run Protect every time, and that was really annoying. But
I mean, like the things that stop Mega Beedrill are what? Steel types, right? Anything else?
Yeah.
I mean,
anything like
yeah, go.
Really bulky defensively, like Powdon was really a struggle. Things like I don't know. And it's a very one-dimensional mod, right? So like I would actually run a lot of interesting things like Tailwind. I actually beat 27 pretty handily with Tailwind, Mega Beedrill, but it's gonna run U-turn, it's gonna run Poison Jab, right? It's gonna run like knockoff / drill run. And then, maybe like the tech Tailwind or something, but other than that, like it's really easy to play around. It's gonna, it's really obvious when it's gonna U-turn, so you can take advantage of that. So I just felt like to me, as the player using Mega Beedrill, sometimes it's a little frustrating. Obviously, it's really strong adaptability. 150, it's nothing to joke about. It's just that, these were some concerns that I had.
Yeah, I mean, covering that, I mean, he has like Heatran, Rotom Heat, and Zygarde to kill steel types, leaving the door open for Mega Beedrill. And then, Powdon, you got Weavile to take care of. So it seems like he's kind of built around Mega Beedrill. I mean, he took it in the second round, so I can definitely see how he's done that. Also, I forgot to mention that Mega Beedrill gets defog, so another hazard remover there.
I mean, it is a reliable, fast removal.
Yeah.
So it's probably not gonna win.
All right. Next.
Yeah. So we have Hat here, with Lando T, Mega Altaria, Roserade, Skarmory, Thundee, Delphox, Mimikyu, Greninja, Buzzwole, Mantine, Staraptor, and Lantern. So he has a very interesting team. I think it's a pretty good Mega. It has the versatility for being a physical or special attacker, and defensive, sort of like cleric. So that's really neat for a team. I think his team rocks pretty high physical defense. So like Lando T has Intimidate, obviously Skarmory. Even like Buzzwole, right, is very bulky on the physical side. And let's even like, I guess Mimikyu sort of has its disguise which is kind of pseudo bulk in a way. He has potential for all hazards, which is neat, right? He has rock, spikes. He doesn't have webs. Okay, well, not all of them, but but the ones that take damage. Okay, he has, like I said, he has Heal Bell support with Lantern as well, and I think is actually a pretty good Pokemon, and with his team, I think it's also a pretty decent complement to sort of the other mons as well, typing wise, and so I think it fits pretty well. The team is pretty weak.
What was the mon that you said?
Wait, what?
What was the mon that you said was that complements well with the team?
Oh, Roserade.
Okay, yeah.
I think is a pretty good pick. It sort of goes well with Greninja and like I guess Lantern as well. I think it just fits defensively pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, Roserade is a beast. Using it in the ECA, it's got a little bit of a full move slot syndrome sometimes, because it has some great coverage, and you just can't run them all. And then it has hazards as well, so you just want hazards as well.
Yeah.
Thundee in the 5th round. I mean, that's huge. Personally, I think Thundee with Z moves, I think he has the 2 best mons for Z moves, Lando T and Thundee. I think those 2 are top tier threats with the Z moves. And I don't know, do you know what the Z move rule is for this league?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Whatever it is, those 2 are crazy. Removal. He doesn't really have removal outside of Defog, Skarm, Mantine, and Staraptor.
I noted. I think there's like a huge pressure on Skarmory and Mantine for defogging, and I feel like, and they're kind of slow defoggers. what I mean by slow is like they don't provide that much pressure on the other team. So oh, they're probably gonna defog, and so I can safely switch into something, and they're sort of like they sort of lose tempo. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure on them to keep them alive, and also slow. So that might be a concern. I usually prefer sort of like some like offensive potential. I think those are.
Hey man, don't sleep on weak armor Skarmory.
I mean, Skarmory's attack is like what, like 90 or something? It's like not bad.
And it gets Sword Stance, so the tech.
True. Yeah. One thing I noticed was it's all. I mean, going off of that was also that it's weak to rocks.
Yeah.
Pretty weak to rocks. So that's a concern. Yeah.
It's pretty weak to ice as well.
Yeah, it's really weak to ice. I mean, Lando T, Roserade,
Top
Fungi
three.
Eye.
Top 3 all weak to ice. 4 of the top 5.
Yeah, so that's I'm surprised like there weren't like the later mons, because I think it's okay to have like a lot of weaknesses in the beginning. If you're just drafting like top tier threats, like they might not well with each other as long as you sort of fill that out, and I felt like the later picks didn't really fill.
Yeah. Outside of Buzzwole, kind of struggles with ground or Zygarde, although Buzzwole is just ridiculous and it takes nothing from a banded 1,000 arrows. So
yeah, it's really bulky. I know I've had like arguments with Buzzwole and whether it's inferior to Heracross. Whoa,
what happened? What happened here? Alright. Rabbit, you suck. Why did you stop? Rip. Alright, let me try get it back. Alright, so sorry about that technical difficulties, but we'll move on to KMJ. His team, Nihilego, Excadrill, Tapu Bulu, Latias, Thundi T, Melodic, Megaglade, Gigalith, Kofag, Masquerain, Espeon, and Lipard. So he's got the Excadrill in the grassy terrain, so those EQs will be doing lots. But he's got the Sandrill, which is always a threat. Interesting, he picked Gigalith over something like T-Tar, which I don't think was drafted. We'll see.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Oh.
And I mean, in my opinion, T-Tar is just the superior sand setup, but it's how you like to play. He has some hazards in the form of Nihilego, Gigalith, Kofag, and Masquerain with the webs. I don't know, his team is really top heavy, and then after Mega Gallade it kind of just sucks. Kofag is okay.
Wait,
but
T-Tar was picked.
Oh, was it? Yeah, but it was okay, it was picked in the 7th round.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to just go with Gigalith. But, I mean, Masquerain, I've used Masquerain. I tried really hard to make it good. It's bad. Espeon in League is bad. Lipard in an open draft. Man, this thing doesn't get picked in most tiered drafts. So, those last 3 picks, I really felt like he could have gotten something better. Like, a lot better. Yeah.
I mean, considering like Kartana was left and like Lando I and
That's Sandforce Lando Eye.
exactly.
Yeah, but there was Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Um, I think so. I think personally, like personally speaking, Sand is actually a pretty strong type. It needs a lot of support, sort of just mindless as Rain is, but I think Sand can break through a lot of teams. So that's pretty cool. Webs, you said Masquerade, pretty terrible mon. I mean, pretty terrible mon, but I think Sticky Web actually helps his team a lot. Especially for mods like Thundy T, which has an awkward sort of speed tier. Tapu Bulu, it's really strong, right? It's choice band set can knock out Lando T, and it's one major weakness is that it's slow, right? But webs I think can really help that, and even Mega Glade can help for potential scarvers, right? Because one thing I noticed is his team is pretty
Slow.
Again. Yeah, he has the Drill and Sand. Yeah, he has the Latias and the Mega Glade, right? And in some sense, the Nihilego. But like the other mons that are fast aren't really that strong, like Espeon, and then everything else is super slow. So I feel like, the webs, he gets helped out a lot by webs, but he's also sort of depending on them a bit. And his speeds are also not diverse, like in that plus 100 to 110 range, or it's like in this like 70 60 range, and that huge gap, those sort of fairly speedy and like pretty slow, again leads to exploitation. If I have a mon that's in the 90 speed range, I don't even have to run speed really, because I'm not going to outspeed the things that are faster than me, but I'm pretty much guaranteed to outspeed like Gigalith, Coffagrugus, things like that, so I don't really care. So that sort of, again, I can sort of exploit that. And I also think it's kind of knockoff weak. Nihilego won't take it, Drill won't take it, Latias, Coffagrugus, Espeon, these things don't want to take a knockoff. And so that's something to consider.
Yeah.
Like you said, sort of the blue Drill combo is kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I mean, it is like something a lot of people forget, that grassy terrain just halves EQ. So I mean, I guess people also forget about Prankster and the dark type stuff, but
all the time.
like his team, apart from his team is lacking a good dark type. Lipar doesn't qualify for that, so I could see him really struggling with bulky psychics. I mean, outside of Kofag, he doesn't have really anything to hit it with stab super effectiveness.
Okay, one thing I will note is that I think Espeon is better than Isfei.
Okay.
I think its dual screen support is worth noting, and notice this league, unlike most other leagues, does not have a baton pass clause, so it can baton pass a lot of different boosting moves. It has some niche, and it's pretty fast for a baton passer, and I think that's also pretty, because it's going to be able to pass its boost pretty reliably.
Nobody, if there's no baton pass, smash or ban against smash pass, why didn't anybody pick up the thing Gorobis?
Gorobis? Yeah, I don't. I mean, I've used smash pass in leagues, and I think it's really fun. So I don't know why.
Yeah, Thundy T, Monster. He's got a lot of breakers, but not a lot of sweepers apart from Sandrill, so we'll see. Next we got Epics, with so this guy has used up all his free agents trades already because he completely randomized his draft, so good on him. good to see that he's taking this league very seriously. I think,
mean,
yeah, you go.
isn't his team like? Is this his new team or is it?
Yeah, it's his new team. He didn't originally. His second pick was Ariados. So.
Oh, I see. So this is the modified.
Yeah, this is a modified team already.
I mean, okay. I think his team is pretty good considered that it was randomized.
Yeah, he got Mence in the
Like-
6th round. That's crazy.
I mean, Mence is a very, very strong team user.
Yeah.
So that is actually pretty crazy. Actually, Shuckle, you know, there's a lot of talk on it, but I think it's web support team a lot. His team is very sort of either awkward range like Lando I, where it really wants to outspeed a couple mons that it can't, and now it can, so that really helps. Zerkatry, he enjoys that. Things like that. I mean, obviously, Killder, things like that don't really care. It's not outspeeding anyway. But, you know, that could be potentially actually pretty useful for his team. Very ground weak.
Yeah. 1,000 arrows destroys this man.
Yeah. I mean,
He's.
a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, this team is flawed. His hazard removal is Salamence. He is.
Kartana too.
Oh, I forgot. Default Kartana. How could I forget? He's a bit fighting weak as well. Only got Toxapex to really eat up any fighting hits. I mean, but when you randomize, what do you expect?
Yeah.
All right, let's go down.
I don't think Toxapex is a good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not technically set up fodder because it has haze. So there's that. Alright, can I scroll, please? Please. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to Embor's team. So Embor has Mega Mawile, Latias, Tentacle, Tangrowth, Blisscore, Arcanine, Heracross, Raikou, Quip, Coon, and Frostlass. So overall, I think his team is actually good. He has pretty laughing.
Why do you sound so surprised?
I'm not surprised. I think Embor is in great battle. I think, you know, this team is actually, though, I think it's pretty well constructed. So I like his mix of speeds. You know, he has Raikou as his sort of fast mon, but he also has like Terrakion. He has sort of, you know, middle tier speed with like Tentacle and so on, but then he also has sort of a very bulky slower mon. So I think overall he has a nice comfortable range of speeds. He has a good defensive core with like Tentacle, Tangrowth, Arcanine, he can also sweep and stuff like that. So that's the nice core. And he has good physical power, right? Mega Mawile. Obviously really strong. Heracross, Crocodile, Terrakion. Very potentially strong threats. Yeah, so I thought his team was very powerful and worked pretty well together. I think it loses to a very well played Swine. I just wanted to point that out. It's also fairly predictable, which I think is its main downfall. Mons sort of are very one-dimensional. Some of them aren't, but a lot of them are. You know, specifically like, I feel Latios is fairly one-dimensional. You know, Tangrowth in a sense is. You know, Heracross is very Terrakion. Mons and Suicune. You know, they obviously there's a lot of different sets that you could run, but they all sort of do similar things, and so you know, and it's also fairly predictable what Mons he's gonna bring, maybe. So that's one thing. I sort of like Mons, but like these Mons I feel are pretty good at what they do. So I think that's not really that big of a concern. It's just something to think about.
I think this guy, I mean, Emble's team kind of loses to bird spam. Yeah, like Banded Staraptor really tears holes, or Banded Talonflame. Yeah, and I mean his hazard removal isn't good. He's only got Latios and, or I guess Gliscor, but Gliscor can't run poison
Tentacle.
here. Oh, he does, yes. In the third round,
Yeah,
what
I
is
think
this
Tentacle's a good
drafting?
spitter.
Yeah,
What? I think it's a good. I think it's better than it is than it was. I think it's actually a even a solid OU spinner.
yeah, but in the third round, really? I
Round?
mean, round.
The
like-
third round, you mean?
Yeah, third round. So, but like, you don't want Latios running defog. It's losing out on coverage moves or Carmine
Yeah.
or Roost. So really his only form of hazard removal is Tentacruel. But having said that, his team is not hazards weak, outside of Arcanine. And Arcanine gets Morning Sun. Frostless I guess, but Frostless is what? Lead Sash anyway, so
Yeah.
his team's good. He has the dark type, he has the electric type. Hazards, he got rocks, T-spikes, spikes, rocks. So yeah, he's got hazards, so not too bad of a team. Be interesting to see how he uses it. Tangrowth, always a monster to take out, so that should be really fun with Suicune. Alright,
Oh yeah.
Big Bad, the Aussie, is a very, very typical Big Bad team. Tapu Koko, Celesteela, Marowak, Clefable, Volcanion, Diggersby, Cress, Alolan Muck, Komao, Celebi, Cragonal, and Mega Blastoise. So picking up a lot of hazard removal at the end for some. I mean, Mega Blastoise is a great spinner, and he's used it quite a lot. Actually, I think he's used a lot of these quite a lot, like Tapu Koko, Alola Marowak, Clefable, Diggersby, Cress,
Wow.
Komao. Like that's why I said it's a very big bad team. But it's
Yeah.
slow, like really, really slow.
That's one thing that I really wanted to mention was it has pretty terrible speed tiers.
Yeah, you got Tapu Koko and then you drop to Komao. That's yeah. All those base 110s, no 115s just gonna go crazy.
Right.
Hazards is not awesome. You got rocks on Whack, spikes on Diggersby, rocks on Celebi, so probably missing a little bit of diversity there. Oh, Clefable as well. Although I don't think Rock's Clef is honestly a waste after using Clef last season. I always felt
I
like
agree,
it was
I
a
think.
waste, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
How does he do with... Yeah, so Zygarde rips this team up.
Okay, that's always your first
Dude.
the first thing you check. I don't know why.
Because that you don't understand. Thousand Arrows is such a broken move. Like he has
Anyway.
Celebi as his ground resist.
It's pretty bulky. I mean,
It is.
Obviously, U-turn rips it apart, but it lives U-turns, right? It lives non-stab on U-turns.
Yeah,
So,
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, your thoughts?
Um, yeah, you covered a lot of them. I think it has pretty decent types energy. Honestly, like Volcanion is actually pretty cool with, and then like Coco, Celesteela, things like that. Yeah, it sort of pairs itself pretty nicely. I think he lacks sort of physical power. I mean, obviously he has the Diggersby, right? I don't think Diggersby is that great of a mon, to be honest. But other than that, like he lacks sort of the raw power that is sort of needed to break through certain mons. I think Alolan Marowak is a very interesting choice for the third round. I think it has that much to offer, to be honest, for his team. So, yeah. Oh, I mean, and like, his speed tiers are really awkward. They're not that slow. So he can't even go with the Trick Room route, I feel, because he has the option. Oh yeah, and Celebi, I think, but like, his mons are like 70 speed, which are a little too fast, I feel. So I don't even think that's really a viable option.
I mean, Marowak is a monster under Trick Room.
You need more than one mon.
Alolan Muck could be a monster inside Trick Room.
Yeah, I think Alolan Muck is better as a defensive pawn. I think MV is using it pretty interesting.
The same set? Well. The same set every week.
It's a monster.
Mate, Poison Touch is an amazing ability. Yeah, true. Hazard removal is...
Yeah, his removal's not good. Cryogonal is just not a good mon. It lacks defensive and offensive pressure. It's fast, but that's about it. And then, like...
It's not even that
Mega
fast.
Blastoise, it's a great mon, but I think having Rapid Spin on it is a waste, right? Having Rapid Spin every week is a waste on it. So I think that sort of limits it. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, his team is a little bit... I mean, you can wear it down fairly easily. If you throw up a bunch of hazards, you can sort of. I mean, you get Clef, Cress, and Celebi. So maybe he can fat stall some stuff out. Next, Siege.
Siege? It's not Siege?
Siege, whatever, man. I can't read.
Okay, well, Siege is running Mega Gardevoir, Jirachi, Garchomp, Volcarona, Rotom Wash, Gengar, Starmie, Crobat, Executor, Golem Alolan, Relicanth, and Murkrow. So interesting that Murkrow was picked in both leagues. I think it's this team really reminds me of XYOU. Like the first mons, Mega Gardevoir, Jirachi, Garchomp, Volcarona, Rotom Wash, Gengar, like Starmie. Those mons really remind me of like the XY metagame, which is interesting. It has pretty good utility. I feel Jirachi is pretty diverse, right? I tell people a lot. It can do a lot more than literally Scarf. And like Volcarona, Rotom Wash, sort of they have I think Jirachi Rotom Wash is actually a really good core. That's really cool. It has like Volt Turn utility. I think the team has an ice weakness. A lot of mons that do resist, but that's something to consider. Actually, looking back, it doesn't really have that much of an ice weakness, so I don't know why I wrote that. Knockoff weak, right? Jirachi is weak. Want its item. So therefore they're kind of weak. Gengar, Starmie, Crobat.
Volcarona with that flame body, though.
That's true. Always birds.
Always.
It's so annoying. I think one concern is like I see little utility in his later picks. Like
Yeah.
Executor, Golem, Relicanth, and Murkrow. I don't really envision them often. Maybe you might, but I think that would just be for the lull of it, to be honest, because his team is very powerful.
Mm.
Like the first six, right? Like I said, they're like or seven. They're a very standard sort of team. And so I don't know why you would bring the others, but then that limits like your options. So I feel like they were honestly a waste. I feel like there were other ones that were better. So that's sort of
Yeah, I would have definitely loved to have seen some hazards at the end because all you have is Jirachi Garchomp top 8. And both of them are, I feel, better utilized when they are offensive and don't have to run rocks. The Volcarona, I guess, hazard removal for Volcarona is Starmie Crobat, which is good. Starmie is a nice spinner, Crobat is a nice defogger. But yeah, those last 4 picks are definitely felt like something better could have been picked. I mean, the pick after Alolan was it? Yeah, the pick after Alolan Executor was Superior. I mean, Superior on this team would be amazing. But
yeah, it fit nicely.
Yeah, but no, Alolan Executor was the choice there. Speed is not too bad. You start with Crobat and go down to Starmie, so not too bad. Some nice setup options in Volcarona, Mega Guard, and Jirachi. Like the top 3 pick, that Fairy Steel Dragon Core is really, really nice. A little bit of a, I guess, speed cluster, but those 3 mons are definitely like 3 of the best mons in League format, I feel. So really nice that he got them. And
yeah, I think it really worked well.
Yeah, so Mega Guard's a monster. Anything else?
No, I think we covered a lot of it.
Yeah. Dark
So
type.
Blue's next.
Blue. Oh, finally somebody picked Magearna. So he starts off with Magearna, Kyurem Black. And then Mew, Infernape, and Manaphy, and then Donphan, Titar, Sylveon, Serp, Azov, Dragonite, and rounds off with Mega Scizor.
Wow.
So this team is just full of power. Yeah, you got hazards on 5 mons. Mew, Infernape, Donphan, Titar, Azelf. No spikes, which I found really annoying last season, not having the option to hazard stack. So maybe something to think about. Titar with Dragonite or Dragonite in Sand is interesting.
Yeah, I think that's honestly not a good combo. I see that all the time, and I think Titar and Dragonite really don't work well together.
Hazard removal options are fairly limited. Donphan, Mega Scizor. I mean, Donphan will probably run spin most weeks, but that makes it pretty easy to prep for. Fire, his team isn't too weak to fire. I think he covered that up for Mega Scizor fairly nicely. Although Magearna, Mega Scizor as a core is like, as 2 of your Pokemon with Magearna and Mega Scizor both need fire types just to take him out, so I guess it makes prep a little bit easier to when you're prepping for 2 massive threats. I don't know, this team maybe Mega Medicham, although he does have Infernape. But yeah, this team's not bad. This team's good.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent team. I think it's really versatile. It has several setup win cons, right? Like I think you mentioned. You know, Infernape is really, really versatile, right? You really have no idea what it's gonna run. But like Manaphy can set up, Kieran can set up, Superior can just sweep, Dragon Knight can set up. Like there's so many different ways that Blue can win that I feel like even if he loses a mon, like, you know, he might have like several mons that could still win the game.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I think, you know, there's some quad weaknesses to be concerned of, right? Mega Scizor, Dragon Knight, Tyranitar. Those are things to think about. This team is kind of weak to Earthquake spam, right? The things, so only like Azelf and, you know, Superior is not really Dragonite.
Yeah, Zygarde.
I can just play Earthquake.
Zygarde's definitely an issue.
Stop. I think Mew is a peculiar choice, to be honest, for a third.
I mean, it's there. You just Mew's in the third round. You just take that.
Why? I don't think it's that good.
Mew's very versatile.
I think it's like the interesting like pick, but I feel like it's like all around not good at what it does. That's just my take. Like there's something that's better than it for a role that it's going.
Yeah, but
I will say it's
fill every role at every given week on any given week, and it is
not
up
every
to.
role.
No, it can.
It's weak. It's weak offensively. It's pressured.
You
recovery,
see,
but like,
I mean, you see
know,
Subcom Mine Jirachi working, and that's, I mean, Mew can do that
Jirachi
as
has
well.
Steel typing.
Yeah, but there is. I'm just giving you an example. There are weeks where Subcarmine or just Carmine Mew just can help you, can just win. Like
What I'll say is, I think setup plus the Tom would be cool.
Yeah.
Defensively, you know, with barrier and Nisha. Like, I don't know if it gets like cosmic power, but like, and like, you know, obviously offensive moves, sword stance, nasty pass could be really cool. With because it has so many offensive threats. Imagine if it gets like agility plus calm mind boost, right? It would be.
Thoughts on Mega Pinsir as his Mega instead of Mega Scizor?
Is it not taken?
No, it's not.
I mean, he would be sort of Roxy Dawn fan, which is a good spinner, but like, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That would be a concern, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it would be a bit better, I think. Though his team doesn't really take. I mean, okay, Donphan again takes like block moves. Oh, and like, I guess in a sort of sense like Magierna, but be pressuring your only spinner that much.
Yeah, and a spinner without recovery either, so can wear it down fairly easily.
But I think it's a good team. I'm excited to see this team. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Gyarados would also be nice, but I'm biased.
That's true.
Lastly, in this division, we got IFS, JP, John, Megalop, Classic Megalop, Taunty, Mamo, Togekiss, Hydreigon, Reuniclus, Jolteon, Fortress, Blastoise, Mismagius, Salazzle, Cradilly. You want to talk about this first?
Yeah. So I think that's pretty good speed, right? Megalope, Tornadus Tion is really fast. Salazzle. Um, I think they're all over 110.
Yeah, they are.
And then, but then you also have the Miss Magius at 105. So again, it sort of fills out. Um, it's sort of hyper offense, but it has a lot of support with it, which I think is really nice. So he has some monster switch into like Togekiss, things like that. Blastoise. So it's pretty cool. One thing I guess I noticed was it is a little Ice Beam, spam Ice Beam, and like Mamoswine obviously gets thick fat, I guess, but you know, I guess Blastoise resists.
It's Fortress resists.
That's about it. Oh, Fortress. Yeah, Fortress. Fortress, it still takes like 30% from an Ice Beam. Oh.
Easy AV Torn. Easy AV Salazzle.
Alright. Oh yeah, Salazzle also resists, I guess. But, there's a lot of mons that are neutrally or super effective they hit.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's an interesting team. He really likes his Togekiss.
He does, and Megalop. I feel like his last two picks are there just to fill out a core. Like he didn't have a fire type or a grass type, so he just picked two of them. And I don't really like Salazzle. I think it's a bit weak and just doesn't hit as hard as you'd like it to. And Cradilly is really passive. It's not bad, but nowadays you want grass types to be able to actually resist ground moves. And Cradilly doesn't really do that, or it just doesn't do that. So yeah, he could struggle with the old Zygarde.
Yeah, take this. Does it Oko Mamoswine? Because otherwise I'm gonna Oko back.
I mean, Shard's gonna do a million anyway.
Yeah, it's pretty bulky though. It's probably not gonna.
No, it's not.
It's probably gonna do like.
Probably do
40,
like
50.
I will say 55. Any last remarks before we move on to the next league?
I think this league is gonna be pretty cool. Like this division, I mean. Like we said, there's a lot of really good teams. Sort of flaws in them. So we'll see like if those, impact how people play. Obviously, these comments are just mine and Chingy's, so don't prove us wrong, right? If you think that like it's not a problem.
But I'm never wrong, so it's alright.
Oh. we should move on.
Yep. All right. Let's go. Damn this slow load. All right. Oh, see. We have a smart person. First pick is Magirna. Like it should
Second
be.
pick, Mega Mawile.
Like that's just common sense. Then we got Starmie, Weavile, Nidoking, Volcanion, Lopunny, Mega Lopunny, Alola, Marowak, Zygarde 50%. Oh my gosh. Entei, Razorade, what? And Ladybar. Slowking. Yes, Ladybar the meme. Overall, this team is nice. Nice speed. Yeah, nice speed. Got those cores, Fire, Water, Grass, Steel, Fairy, Kragan. Yep, that's the one. Hazards are not too bad. Roserade, Alola Marowak, Nidoking covers the three main ones. Probably would need more rockers, in my opinion. Nidoking doesn't really want to run rocks. I feel like it's better utilized running offensive moves, although with its coverage I guess you could afford to run rocks. Removal is not good, although his team is not too weak. He only has Starmie with Spin, but then you have things like Weavile, Volcanion, Marowak, Entei, so a few things weak to rocks. So Starmie's probably going to be really pressured.
You got Ladybug.
Yeah, Ladybug, true. My bad. How could I forget? No electric type. That's
You love your electric type.
mate. Fast electrics are a staple of the draft scene. They are a proven commodity, as well as
Limited.
Are they though? I'm sure there are 10.
I mean, limited in number, yeah. Like Jolteon, ooh, Manectric, and then what?
The Thundies?
3 months? Okay, fine. Thundies.
Heliolisk.
That's 6.
I don't know. Raikou.
Yeah, that's it. There's like very little.
Zapdos. I'm sure there's 10.
Zapdos is not that fast.
Electros.
It's slow as hell.
Is it
Yeah,
electric?
I mean, there are definitely a lot of electric types, but you know, a lot of them aren't good or they aren't fast. So I don't know.
Your thoughts?
I think it's not that big of a deal if you don't have one. That's just my opinion.
Yeah? Hello?
I think he has a lot of. Hello?
Yep, nah, you're good.
Okay, cool. I think he has a lot of decent bulk and also fast hyper offensive pressure. Like Magearna, yeah, Volcanion. Even like Entei is decently bulky. But then you have like Weavile, Nidoking, things like that. Starmie, I guess. So you have that nice sort of like diversity. I think, and it has a lot of power too. Like this team has a lot of different. This team, one thing, I think its main weakness is the fact that it's fairly weak to EQ. Like he has no resist across the entire board. So ground spam is an issue. Yes, he has like things that hit ground types hard. If I have sort of a faster ground mon, then that can be an issue. I think Ladybug is useless. Maybe it was a meme pick.
No, it's a serious pick.
And Cobalion is picked later. Like, you know, it would have been better than Ladybug. Like, Ladybug literally does nothing for this team. It provides screens, and that's it. Tailwind, maybe. But it's literally, its stats are terrible. Everything is terrible, so I don't know why it was.
Yeah, I think it's there is a meme to it, and we are not privy to that meme. Alright, T-Bug.
Also, yeah, one more thing. I think it's also weak to knock off. Like, yeah, Magearna can take it, but if it's holding Assault Vest, then, you know, boom, like its utility is kind of gone. Everything else is fairly weak. Marowak, especially, doesn't take knockoffs. Entei would lose like its choice band and would be. Yeah, there's just a lot of mons that are sort of dependent on their item. So that's something.
And all mons are dependent on their item.
Not
Which ones aren't?
I mean, like, there are mons that like don't depend on their item. Like, yeah, tank growth, right? Regenerator tank growth can still heal off itself.
But it appreciates.
It appreciates it, but it's not like completely crippled.
I wouldn't say Magearna is completely crippled.
All right. maybe not Magearna.
Weavile,
Other mon.
the knockoff switcher.
Yeah. Takes a million.
You want to get T-Bug?
Sure. So we have T-Bug with Mega Mawile, Latias, Rotom Heat, Celebi, Serena, Talonflame, Clefable, Mismagius, Zipstrika, and Seismitoad.
Oh, Fable.
Yeah, Clefable at number 9. That's honestly absurd. Like, last gen, that would never happen. So, I think he has a very sort of peculiar team. A lot of cleric options. Wish Pass, which is cool. I think Celebi, Rotom Heat are an interesting core. Also, Mega Mawile and Latias work actually really well together. So I think that's pretty cool. Mega Mawile, though, his physical power is sort of has like Z-move, Talonflame. Yes, he has like Serena, I guess, but Serena's not like amazing. So I think physically, like if you might struggle against walls. I think Zipstrika is useless. Yes, it's a fast electric that you seem to love so much, but I think it's so weak that it doesn't even matter. So
yeah,
that's
pretty weak.
And like, yeah, it has like, I think Zipstrika's niche is the fact that it has interesting abilities, right? It has both lightning or like motor drive and sap zipper, but they don't help this team at all, right? I guess Seismitoad, but that's pretty much it, I feel.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. His hazard removal option is really bad considering he has a Talonflame and a Rotom Heat. So,
I mean, he has Serena and Latias.
Yeah, Serena is a good spinner. Having used it last season, was solid. And Latias doesn't really want to run debug in my opinion. But yeah, hazards are not great.
Limited.
Yeah, they are very limited. But synergy wise, it's not bad. Umbreon is also set up fodder, so I don't know why you need both Umbreon and Greninja.
At least Umbreon gets foul play. But yeah, like especially.
Alright, so we're gonna go to Bunny. We got Celesteela, Tapu Koko, a fast electric that you didn't mention, Garchomp, Mew, Mega Sableye, Jirachi, Keldeo, Dhelmise, Arcanine, Alolan Mach, P2, and Crustle. His team's not too bad. It's got a bit of a speed drop between Tapu Koko and Keldeo. We got a bit of a hazard removal problem. I guess you have the deterrent in Mega Sableye's Magic Bounce, but then you have only Delmise as rapid spin for removal. Hazards are also really limited. Chomp and then Crossel.
Oh, he has like Mew
Jirachi.
and Jirachi. And
That's true. I always forget those two because they are terrible rockers. Not really, but they are much better at doing other stuff. Yeah, Mew is almost wasted.
Huh.
In my opinion, anyway. They have better. They're better at other stuff than just throwing up rocks. Maybe.
Go on.
Alright. Defog Mew is a thing.
Yeah.
What else? Does he have a fire type? Yes, he does. So he's got that fire water grass core as well. So yeah, not too bad. Probably missing a little bit of power, like immediate power. Like only Garchomp really jumps out at you, and I don't think Garchomp hits that hard unless it's like banded. But it is scary, no doubt. But yeah, just missing that immediate power. Your thoughts?
Yo. So I was very interested in hearing what you thought, because I think Bunny's team is one of my favorites in the entire league.
Interesting.
And I agree with you definitely that the immediate power is one of the things that sets it a little back. Like, you're right. Coco hits pretty hard, but other than that, maybe something to think about. But I think the Celesteela Garchomp Tapu Koko core is actually really good. And there are very few mons that sort of break through both the offensive and defensive capabilities of just the three alone. And I think also one unique thing about this team is there is a viable Trick Room option. And I'm not saying any team that's like dependent on Trick Room or wants to set up Trick Room is a good team. I think Trick Room is very limited in singles, but I do think like that very late game Trick Room is very powerful. Like I almost lost to it in the ECA, and I think having that as an option is really powerful. And I think the speed tiers are pretty good. So, and it has really nice physical and special split, in my opinion. A lot of good physical and special attacking mons. So I was thinking of like things that were bad about the team, and it was hard for me to really think of a lot of things compared to the other teams. I did notice the power thing, but like Keldeo runs choice bets. Coco has immediate power. Chomp runs Sword Stance, Life Orb, or Ban. Things like that. So I think I also like Choice Band Muck as an option as well. I think knockoff hits really hard, things like that. So overall, I think it's a pretty good team. Crustle, I don't think Crustle will come.
Watch him bring it week 1.
Okay, well I'm pretty sure he already played or something. I don't know. I haven't looked at the games.
Oh, did he? Damn.
Like, yeah, Crustle I think doesn't offer anything. But other than that, I think I actually really like this team.
Can't Crustle Shell Smash and then sweep someone?
In random battles, yeah. When it's like 10 levels above everything else.
Ah, that's the key. Fair enough.
I guess, okay, should we move on?
Yep, go for it.
Alright, so next we have Cal, with a very interesting team. Is Lando T, Infernape, Skarmory, Hydreigon, Tornadus T, Thundurus T, Tapu Bulu, Tentacruel, Mamoswine, Scolipede, Cobalion, and Mega Manectric. So overall, I think it is actually a pretty cool team. Physical and special threats, right? You have Lano T, You have Infernape, you have Torn, Thundurus, Hydreigon, Bulu. Like, well, basically everything that can provide a lot of immediate pressure, which is nice. Some speed tiers, like Tornti is fast, but then you also have like Fernape, Cobalion, Mega Nectric, but then also some slower mons as well. I think 80, like having things in like 130, 110, like 105, 100, 80, 90, like those are good speed tiers to have. And he sort of has them. Nice sort of offense, like I said, decent hazards and hazard removal. Lando T provides hazards. Mammothline is a pretty good rocker. Scolipede obviously has a lot of hazards. Scolipede, by the way, I think is a better mon because it can baton pass. So that can be really powerful, especially baton passing speed and like attack to Bulu, like that's insane, right? That's incredible. So that might be really interesting to see. Couple concerns. Ice weakness is a concern. Corn-T, Thundersty, Bulu, Mammothline. A lot of Mammothline, yeah, I guess. But sort of frail, which is a concern. Obviously, he has a Scarm. Cool. Bulu is kind of bulky, but other than that, like Lando T, Infernape, Torn-T, Thundersty, they're really frail. Mega Nectric, they're really strong, but they're really frail. So that's sort of his play style.
Yeah.
Also, Mega Main and DT, like why they seem very, overlapping.
Fast electrics. Anyway, like I see what Cal's going for, kind of like hazard stack at the beginning and then just pressure the team really hard. He's got quite a lot of Volt Turn, so like Lando, Infernape, Hydreigon, Torn, Fundy, Manectric and Cobalion, they all have either Volt Switch U-turn or both. So he just sets up those hazards with Scarm and Tentacruel possibly, and then just starts pressuring his other team until they just submit. He's got some nice breakers. Lando T can break, Thundy T can break, Mamo, Banded Mamo, or Life Orb Mamo can break as well. So yeah, and then he's got speed to clean it up. Mega Main, Scolipede, Choice Scarf, Ape, Choice Guard, Hydreigon, they're both really good. Torn T, so I can see I can see how this team is built. And yeah, I like it. Hyper offense is not, in my opinion, not as good as like bulky offense or balance, just because it requires you to be able to predict impeccably, and if you don't, then it puts you on the back foot. But hey, hyper offense is really fun to play. So
yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Any more? Or I'll just move on to hyper.
Sure, let's move on.
So Hyper's team is a team that I would more expect to be randomized. Starting off with Nose Pass, then Kommo-o, Sylveon, Mega Gyarados, Toxicroak, Buzzwole, Blissey, Sableye, Porygon Z, Azumarill, Oranguru, and Smeargle. So I have no idea what the gorilla does, so I'm not going to comment on him. But Nose Pass is an interesting choice as the first round pick. But yeah, his team is slow, really slow. It looks like Kommo-o might be his fastest mod.
I mean, yes. How fast is Como?
95?
Um, yeah, that is his fastest mod.
Yes. I mean, Mega Gyarados is a beast, but it requires a lot of support for it to really shine. Azu is a beast as well, but once again, needs support, needs its checks taken care of before it can really do damage. Yeah.
So good.
I mean, Azu, I don't see going that in that many drafts anyway. So, or tier drafts anyway. Just because it's, I guess, not as worth. But I guess in an open draft, yeah, I can see Water Fairy
Yeah.
typing is really good.
It's usually like tier 1, tier 2, and nobody wants to pick it.
Yeah.
Tier 1.
Yeah.
But in an open draft, I'm surprised to see it so late compared to like, I don't know, like the other. So
Yeah, I mean, his hazards are not that good. He has what, Blissey? I guess. Does Toxicroak get T-Spikes? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Smeargle, and then that's pretty much it. Removal is non-existent, and yeah, this team has a lot of issues, and
Yeah.
yes, over to you.
So, I actually think Hazards is not that bad for him. Like, able to do anything. He has Notice Pass, which is actually reliable considering it has sturdy. But yeah, I mean, Notice Pass just can't cut it. He has 4 normal types and 3 fighting types. As you can notice, like the 4 normal types. Yeah, I don't think they're really that worth. Is a great double Mon. I think it has a really cool ability, but for singles, it's crap. And like you said, it's very slow. So I can literally see just wrecking through this team because of how slow it is. Everything I can run like modest and adamant on everything and just slap a choice band on and just tear through this team, right?
Yeah, I can really see Cal's team just running train.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he
that's quite
can
different.
almost, like, if he's ballsy enough, he'd just run modest Thundy T and just, oh my goodness, like he doesn't have a T-Bolt switch in. What? Oh, true. Then you just run Z Superpower and just blast it to a ability.
Gone. Yeah. We should move on.
Yep. All right. Twong.
Yeah.
is next.
Twong. So Twong has Victini, Drill, Latios, Hippo, Superior, Zapdos, Zelf, Nihilego, Slowbro, Gengar, Mega Pinsir. So, I think this is a pretty cool team. It has the sand offense, right? Hippo Drill, reliable, and then Gigalith Drill, like we saw earlier. Fairly speedy, right? He has the superior, the Zelf, Mega Pinsir, the Gengar, the Ninetale alone. Like pretty much half his team is like above 100, which is pretty interesting. He has some slower mons as well. Several setups sweepers, right? So Drill can sweep, Superior can sweep, right? Nihilego can get a bunch of boosts. Mega Pinsir obviously can sweep. So I think sort of like blue. I think he has a lot of different options. One thing I noticed is this team has 4 psychic types. Um, sort of a concern, right? His Big Teeny, Latios, Azelf, and Slowbro. And he has like more mons that are also weak to knock off, like Gengar. So that's something to watch out for. Also, it's sort of a rocks weakness, right? Like Victini, Mega Pinsir, Ninetales. So that's something to consider. Drill spins, Zapdos defogs, and I think that's it. You know, Drill doesn't have that many moves really to run, so I guess it's like not bad to run Rapid Spin, but I think it has a lot of pressure to Rapid Spin, and Drill might not have the opportunity to spin because it might get knocked out if it does. So I feel like that's a concern with Zapdos. It is a good defogger, but it's bad when your hazard removal, one of your few hazard removal is weak to rock. So that's something to consider, especially when you have a Mega Pinsir. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like the hazard options, but his team is so fast. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Slowbro and Hippowdon are the only things under base 100, excluding Drill in sand or outside of sand. So, like, I don't think I've seen a faster team, and usually with fast things they lack braking power, and it's a little bit the case. Victini can break with V create. Serp can sort of break with leaf storms provided they hit, and you're running contrary. Azelf is a little weak after using it, because like his coverage moves just aren't that high. Like the base power aren't that high, so it doesn't hit as hard as you'd like. Nihilego, coverage is a little bit bad, so as long as things are weak to rock and poison, then sure, it can break. And then Gengar needs a specs to be able to break, but then it gets pretty easily pursuit trapped. So it's like the team is fast and prone to Trick Room. I mean, it's easy to set up Trick Room against this thing, and no Dark type, which means Kresk has a fun time. No way to kill Cress either. Gengar, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not too bad. I'll be interested to see how he plays with it, because we both know Twong, and we both know he loves his fat stuff. So
Yeah, that was the biggest surprise to me, that he doesn't have like a Vaporeon.
yeah. So yeah. Next we got Toxic, Megazard X, Klefki, Kyron Black in the third round, Thundy Eye, Donphan, Manaphy, Mandibuzz, Cresselia, Decidueye, Conkeldurr, Meloetta, and Murkrow. Standard Murkrow on a Toxic team, that's standard. Standard. Team is a little slow, caps out at Thundy Eye, it seems, but you know, I love Thundy Eye, so much love. Hazards, little bit Hazards weak. You got Zard X, Kyurem, Thundy, Mandibuzz, and then removal options being Mandibuzz and Donphan, which is not too bad. And Decidueye, so it's workable. Definitely workable. And hazard options being Donphan, Klefki, a little bit limited, quite limited. So, but you know, when you have breakers such as Zardex and Kyurem, and then you got setup sweepers like Thundy Eye, Manaphy. Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't need hazards to just chip things down. But yeah, this team is not bad, or not too bad. Definitely workable. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think I've used Zardex before, and I it's one of my favorite ones in League. And I think the raw power from Zardex and Turn Black and Thunders can just destroy a lot of teams. It's by pure power, and there's like you said, several setup sweepers that make it really nice. But he also has this defensive mons, right? He has like Donphan and Mandibuzz, Cress, obviously. So I like the balance. One thing is, I feel like the draft has some more potential. Like I feel like have the Thundy Eye and the Manaphy, like it would have been really cool personally to see just like the option of rain. I think would have been where you could spam like Thunders and like Manaphy could work in rain and like maybe like one other mon. That would have been really cool compared to like maybe some of the other like later picks, which I'm not sure if they're gonna even show up. Like I feel the later half is a little weak. Personally, like Decidueye, it's okay. Like Eloetta, it's all right, but you have Cress and Murkrow is whatever. Like of course you can pick it, but it could have been more rounded, in my opinion. And also like the mons are fairly predictable, right? Like has a number of options. It has like T-Punch and things like that. But overall, you're gonna see that Dragon Claw, like Flare Blitz, D-Dance, Roost, maybe Wisp, I don't know. But then you also have like Klefki, which is, again, predictable. Turn Black is fairly unpredictable. Thundy Eye as well. But like Donphan, Mandibuzz, Crest, Decidueye, Conkeldurr, like these are all very predictable mons. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, so Staravia.
Yeah.
So Staravia has Mega Venusaur, Rotomosh, Ditto, Jolteon, Goodra, Fortress, Staraptor, Darmanitan, Ribombee, Zoroark, Cloyster, and Medicham. So Venusaur, Rotomosh work fairly well together. Actually, so Ditto picked in the 3rd round. It was very peculiar to me. The alright league pick, actually, but I don't think people will pick it that early, so that was a very interesting decision. That being said, I think Ditto actually works well with the team, because provides, so like, there's a lot of fairly frail but like very powerful mons. Staraptor, Darmanitan, Zoroark, potentially, Cloyster is not frail, very frail on the special side. Medicham is very frail. So the point is like, if a team can set up on you, then you're pretty much dead, I feel, with this team. Because this team can't take a hit, has no walls except for Fortress. The sword is pretty bulky, I guess, but and Goodra, but like, my point is like it's this team. So having the Ditto as sort of an insurance. That being said, having Ditto on the team, like as a Zardex user, right, in the ECA, pairing against Ditto was very scary because I could never like tell, I could take care of the Ditto, or I had to Ditto proof my team, and that's just very annoying. And so I think that having it, even if you don't bring it, it's like your opponent's team loaded. A lot of bad things, I feel. So like, there's only one Stealth Rocker. Like hazards in general is pretty mediocre. Cloister's just has it setter in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's very slow, except for Jolteon. Zoroark's not that slow, obviously, but like the other mons are fairly slow. You know, like I said, there's a lot of frail Pokemon there. You know, that's not a problem if you're into HO, but even in HO standards, like that powerful, like Darmanitan is strong, Staraptor's strong, but like Zoroark's not gonna take one of KO's destroy. So I feel like there's for that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't really like this team. He started off really well with Mega Venusaur, Groton, starting as like his starting core, which is really nice. And then probably if you followed that up with like a dark type, then that basically covered Mega Venusaur's weaknesses. And then you go from there. But he just kind of it looked like he had a plan, and then just threw that plan out the window after Ditto. I mean, Ditto round 3. That's interesting. But yeah, his team is super weak, like frail, I guess. Staraptor can hit hard, but kind of needs a scarf to be able to consistently get off, and same with Darmanitan. Rabombi is bad. It's kind of like Masquerain, just does nothing. And then I really like Medicham as like a low tier fighting type. I reckon it has quite a lot of utility.
Yeah, I do too.
I enjoyed using it the 3 times I brought it, I guess. But yeah, I don't see this team doing that well personally. But you know, good luck to you, Staravia.
Yeah, I think, okay, so if I picked Mega Venusaur and Rotom Wash, like, I think a really solid third pick would have been, like, Jirachi. Biased, but, like, think about the type synergy. Like, that would have been so good, in my opinion.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I could see that. Jirachi went... What? Where is Jirachi? He went in the 6th round. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible. Absolutely. Didn't... Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Vergi. Tapu Fini, Mega Guard, Heatran, Tangrowth, Zygarde 10%, Raikou, Nidoqueen, Terrakion, Scizor, Uniclus, Volcarona, and Alolan Persian. So starting off with double fairies is interesting, and then adding another poison weakness in Tangrowth. But after that, he's kind of filled out his poison resistances okay. Heatran, Scizor core is, you know, it's an old combination, but you know, his team kind of gets destroyed by EQ. Yeah, Tangrowth, aside from Tangrowth, his team is really weak to ground spam as well, just ground spam. His hazard options are not awesome. You got Heatran and then Nidoqueen, plus the tech Rocks Terrakion. Removal options are also fairly limited. Tapu Fini and Scizor. And when you have a Volcarona, you really need solid hazard removal options. He has a nice last pick in Alolan Persian to be able to get off those Z parting shots, which, you know, able to bring back the likes of like a Terrakion to be able to break early game and then possibly sweep at the end. Or possibly Raikou, or even Zygarde 10%, you know, banded 1,000 arrows is nothing to joke about. Fairly good Firewater Grass Core, defensively, really nice. Lacks recovery though, and so that could be a thing that could wear down his wall core. So just throw up some spikes, throw up some rocks, and he might be able to wear him down fairly quickly. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the team?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. Like EQ is a concern. I think the Mons work well. They helped him a little to make this team. I think his Mons work well. But like you said, one concern is the lack of recovery. And if they work well and like they get worn down, that can be an issue. Kingrowth has the blessing of, but Heatran doesn't, and neither does Finny. And Finny has a lot of pressure on this team, which is a concern. Like you're running Volk. I'm not sure how many times he'll bring Volk. Volk is a very good mon, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why he picked it, because like literally in the same round, Claydol was picked. That being said, yeah, you're right. It needs a lot of support. Reuniclus is a cool pick. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, Reuniclus is a interesting pick. I mean, it's a good mon, but you also have my Gardevoir. So I don't was sort of an overlap. I think it's gonna be fun to watch this team. I think it'll be interesting how he plays with it.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that I didn't mention was that Volcarona is a really nice Zmon user, and in League format you can sort of tailor what you need to hit, and yeah, Volk's really scary with Quiver Dance, so definitely will be interesting to see how he uses a fairly offensive team. Yeah, lacks recovery, so he kind of has to play it that way.
Yeah.
And lastly, you want to go through?
Yeah, so we have Jayhawk, and he's rocking the Kartana, Mega Medicham, Tyranitar, Lando I, Vaporeon, Uxie, Comfy, Togedemaru, Hario, Claydol, and Incineroar. So very interesting. Let's see. So he has like okay speed. I mean, Kartana is his fastest mon, I believe. So
Yeah.
kind of slow in terms of like their top speed, but it's filled out fairly nicely. Throughout the speed tiers, there are a couple really slow mons. Setup fodder, in my opinion. Like Vaporeon, I think is setup fodder in a way. I don't really know what Comfy does, so I can't really talk about it.
No.
Type null, to be honest.
Type null is just like Type null is P2 without the recovery, and Comfy is just bad.
Because P2 is P2. One of the biggest reasons why it's good is because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a Type null take like 32% from a +3 Manaphy's Surf, so
Wow,
it's
that's pretty good.
yeah, Eviolite boosted. It can take hits, but it's got no recovery, so it's bad.
Hazard removal is very limited, right? Claydol, I think, is not a good spinner. I think it loses to a lot of mons. It's slow, so it can't spin very reliably. Kartana, it's like a fast defogger, but it's like sort of a last attempt thing where like you're assuming that they're gonna switch out like anything special whatsoever. And like I've seen people, like I saw Chimpact in his team building video where he literally packs like HP fire on every mon, and yeah, it might not be like a specially offensive mon, but even from like just a 70, 75 base stat like completely destroys Cortana.
Yeah.
That's definitely a worry. Not as great because it's not sheer force. I mean, it still has good stats. Frail. It doesn't have the intimidate that Lando 2 does. And so it's gonna hit fairly hard. It's not gonna want to KO things, and it's potential to get one KO'd.
Yeah, I mean,
What about you?
this team's really physically orientated. Katana, Mega Medicham, Tita, and then Lucario, and then Sonoro. I guess his only really notable special presence is Lando I, and that's Sandforce Lando I, so it's what, 115. It has 115 special attack, so I mean its attack is higher than its special attack, so he might end up running physical anyway. Yeah, this team isn't that good in my opinion. Rocks on Tita, Yuxi, Lando I, Claydol. Togedemaru is a nice meme. He's basically Jirachi, but steel electric. And I don't think it's as strong.
Wait, what? How is it Jirachi?
Yeah, it gets because it gets Zing Zap, and then
What an insult to Jirachi.
well, it flinches stuff. I don't know. Jirachi's bad anyway. No, I'm kidding. Lucario, I really like Lucario as a mon, and it fits fairly well on his team. You know, you got T-Dar to get rid of those bulky psychics, and then Lucario has some nice setup options. Both.
Yeah, it
if
also has
physical.
good.
Yeah, really nice priority, which is something that we didn't really note for the rest of the teams.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be very prevalent. So yeah, Mega Medicham is a monster, but once again, I think it needs bulky psychics gone, and T-Tar really helps with that. So yeah, there seems to be a lot of pressure on T-Tar to get rid of bulky psychics and pursuit trap stuff, so its longevity might
I'm just
be.
puzzled by some of the later picks. That's like, you know, I felt like Cortana, Mega Medicham, and Tyranitar. Okay, that's a pretty neat, you know, 4 months. So remind me, Sandforce is boosted in sand, right?
Yeah.
So Lando I is, you know, pretty strong, like, in the sand.
Yeah, but it's not that easy. And it's only boosted by 1.3? Is it? Is Sand
Here,
Force?
let me.
No, I got it. 1 point. Yeah, it's only 30% in the sand.
1.3. So it's literally the same as sheer force, except only in the sand and only ground.
And steel and rock.
Yeah. So.
And sheer force you can be any time.
Right, and it boosts like sludge wave, and things like that, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Some nice coverage. Yeah.
Yeah.
This team is not a I don't like this team that much. But Hawk, you can go and prove me wrong.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I think opinions, obviously, and you know, it's gonna be very interesting. I feel this season, and look back and see like how people played and how they adjusted.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be really cool to see.
Absolutely. Yeah, so week 1 battles come out. Well, they start this week, so maybe we'll do weekly power rankings. Maybe we won't, because we are pretty busy. So
Yeah. Maybe we can, you know, if it's not a video, I can probably just type something up really quickly or something.
yeah, something pretty
Not
easy.
bad.
So hope you guys enjoyed this 2 hour analysis on 20 teams. Oh my goodness. So yeah, thanks Troll for helping me out.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll catch you guys later. See ya. Oof, 1 hour and 50 minutes.